Welcome back to another episode of Boss Moves and Benefits. I'm your host, and with me today, I have Robin Ball, Ken Ball, and Cindy Moehring, one of our current clients with the Palms Casino Resort. Today, we're going to be talking about coverage and cocktails, diving into a little bit of Las Vegas vibes. So, Cindy, I'm going to pass it off to you and introduce yourself a little bit. I'm super excited. We've been in partnership with Palms for four plus years now. Mm-hmm. I was laughing before we got in the studio because I actually came back from maternity with my first kid when we started the Palms account. And then now I have my second kid. So it's a full family circle for me. Palms is watching me through all of my maternity leaves. Yeah. So I hope it's been okay.
It's been awesome. Thank you so much, Brooke. It's great to be here. Yeah. Thanks for inviting me and Robin. And I'm happy to be here. I'm so excited to speak with you today and love the work that you guys do for us. We've been so happy with CBC and everything that you've brought to the table. And you guys have been a great partner.
Likewise.
Happy to talk about that today.
Well, likewise. One of the reasons I've really enjoyed working with you, Cindy, is just your background and experience here in the Southern Nevada market in particular. So just talk about a bit of your experience here in benefits and human resources.
Sure. So moved here 32 years ago. Worked for an entertainment company, and we'd never done benefits before. We'd only done workers' comp, obviously a lot of that. And when we moved here, MGM hired us. So we did 4 shows for MGM, and a requirement was that we have benefits. So met with our broker, met with a local broker, and decided to go self-insured. Even though we were a small company, we had very young employees. And so when we compared rates for fully insured to self-insured, it was pretty clear. And I had a really wonderful boss, and he was not risk adverse. And so he was like, I think this is a good choice. And so ran a self-insured health plan 32 years ago when I got here. That was my experience getting into the market. And so learning Las Vegas, understanding providers. And then from that position, when those shows closed, I ended up getting hired by MGM and ended up having a really nice benefits and HR career with them. And like I said, I've been in the market 31 years. I'm currently a management trustee for Culinary Health Plan, which covers over 100,000 lives in Southern Nevada. So get a great experience and education from them as well. And really got into benefits after I left the entertainment company because I loved helping people. And you can help everyone. You can help people with retirement, with college education, with healthcare. Anytime anyone needs a doctor appointment, a referral, you guys help me with that too. But we had medical directors. So it's just so nice to help people with something that's so important in their lives, which is good health. I'm very passionate about wellness. My father was a doctor. My mom was a nurse. My grandfather was a doctor. I grew up working in doctors' offices.
Didn't know
so
that.
I kind of understood. You didn't know that? And so I worked in my dad's office. He was a plastic surgeon, had his own business. It was, in those days, everybody was private practice. And so help with billing. He wanted me to be an accountant. And then my mom, when I was in college, she entered the workplace again as an RN, and she was a back office nurse in a urologist's office. So I learned a lot about urology. And I also help with their billing. So I kind of understand how a doctor's office runs, understood insurance, understood not having insurance. So it just felt like a natural fit for me.
I think you have too big of a personality to be an accountant, though.
Well, my dad really, he wanted it so bad. Like I kept books for them and did all this because I was good at math. And I'm like, what can I do if I'm good at math and I like people and I care about wellness as a passion? I think you all know I'm a group fitness instructor.
That's what I was going to say. It kind of goes into your personal life too. That's what you're really focused on, keeping everyone healthy, which I think I really enjoy learning more about that with you. It's cool.
Former chairman at MGM basically said to me when I was executive director of benefits there, I want people to live longer, healthier lives because they worked for us. That was like and so I like that.
Mantra.
That theory for me is the same. Like, how can we bring better health to our employees? Because obviously presenteeism is a huge issue. And if people aren't feeling well, they can't take care of our guests. Right. So making sure that we have a good support system, great benefits to offer them, and that they know how to utilize it and that it's affordable. So that's super important to me. And I think it really improves when you talk about culture in the workplace. It's a really important part of the culture in the workplace.
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask about that? Oh, so, Cindy, the interesting thing about when we met you was that we had gone out to RFP and then we won the business and then you got hired. So we got really nervous because we knew you knew the market. And we hadn't had the experience of working with you before, so you kind of had to adopt
I
us.
always think of it it's like a football team if they hired the coach before they hired the GM.
Yeah. It was interesting. So my journey even to Palms was interesting because I was at Virgin, I think you guys know. And my former mentee, Cindy Moehring, went over to Palms and, said, you want to come over? And so I'll talk to them about the job. A week later, I had an offer. So it happened really quick. And so when they hire me, they're like, you need to set up a 401k plan because we can't even get the company to talk to us. I'm like, and we need it in 6 weeks because we were bringing on 250 employees once we got that license that were at Palms Place. And we already hired your health plan broker. I'm like, I was happy about it, actually. I'm like, I have to worry about setting up a 401k plan in 6 weeks. So I was really happy. And then when we met you and we found out your experience, and of course, I've always admired Paula and the work she was doing over there. So I was really happy. And then when I found out the service you offered, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can just cut back one FT off my compendium because I don't need someone to worry about benefits administration. So I was actually in charge of benefits administration for many years with MGM, and it's a lot of work. And it took a lot of my time. I had a dedicated FTE, my director's times. There was just a lot going into it. So for you to take that on, because I have a very small team, I was thrilled. Yeah. I was just praying that it was going to work out because I didn't want to have to bring it back in.
So are we.
It wasn't
and also we had to get Workday up and running, which is I converted benefits to Workday when I was at MGM. I was kind of the lead on that project initially, and it's a lot of work too. Yep. And I knew we didn't have the manpower to do it with the compendium that we had. And originally the idea was we'd start with you guys and then we would convert. And after the first year, I said to my director, we are not converting. This is great. It's
a big.
We kind of teed up. I think one of the big topics we want to hit on is, oftentimes when we're talking about ourselves, I'll say we're built on two, kind of two poles, so to speak, right? So consultative, understanding your strategy, liaison to the marketplace, but then also, and you hit on it, which is taking on as much as you'll give us in terms of day-to-day administration. So, I mean, you began to talk about, but can you talk about the impact that's had, internally in terms of ability to manage the plan on a day-to-day basis?
What's great for me, anytime you can outsource administration and then we can focus on culture, strategy, what's next, spend our time where the value is going to return, right? So you guys are doing kind of the, no offense, but the mundane day-to-day, paperwork.
Hey, none taken.
And like I said, even at my last job before at Virgin, I had one FTE doing it, but I still had to review it. I had to look at it. I would find errors. Like it took my time. And right now, that's not the best use of my time. And so the best use of my time is, like we said, strategy, culture, how to improve, how to lift folks up. And so it's been a huge, just such a gift, really. And even when I brought a consultant in, I think you remember when we first started and had him look at the model, former hospital CFO and, had run big benefit plans before. And he's like, this is awesome. So I even got a third party to kind of
validation.
Say, I just want to make sure I'm not, am I right here? Is this like too good to be true? And he agreed.
That's awesome.
So, it's just been phenomenal.
Brooke, do you want to talk just for a second, because we brought up Workday and the outsource administration of how you're integrating today with Workday?
So for the Palms, we do the full benefit administration model. So, and then we pass files over to Workday. So basically what that looks like for their system is that they deduct and take payroll within Workday. However, the benefits themselves are not set up. So they're set up in codes. So essentially what we do is we take the enrollments on our side. So we have a full Palms branded website that the employees go in and enroll. They can chat with a live team member if they have any questions during service hours, or they can call in and ask questions. So they complete that enrollment process. And then on a per pay period basis, what we're going to do is we push those elections over to Workday with the correct codes that they need. In addition to that, we track their arrears. So we also send, in conjunction with our report, we'll send an arrears deduction report that basically says, hey, these folks owe this amount. And then they go ahead and take those deductions. We do provide an ability to have a cap. So for those benefit deductions, they're never taking more than $50. And for the Palms specifically, what I was thinking about when you were discussing like onboarding and you coming into the Palms, and I was just laughing in my head because, like I said, I came back from maternity leave and I get a message. We're like, okay, we need a full Ben admin up in 90 days. What's your plan? I'm like, welcome back to the office.
You and I were in the same boat.
Yeah.
Could have been having cocktails every
That's
night.
But so what I like and I enjoy about that model, like I've said before, I really love administration. So having our ability to have a majority of the information in-house and then managing that with a team, because that's outsourced as well for POMs, which it can be challenging, right? Because we need to communicate to members what they're being deducted. Sometimes they'll enroll late or we'll get some late new hires submitted. So something else that we do is we take arrears notifications. So we will email every pay period. We send a notification to those employees and say, hey, this is the arrears amount we've taken, and here's your balance due. Because what we're finding is that just due to, the variety of employees that you have, and then also, the online environment, is that they were just missing that piece. So we send those additional communications for them.
So, go ahead.
No, go.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
What's been also great about the relationship is we'll say, hey, we need this communication, or can you add this? Or if we see there's an issue, and then it's just done. At MGM, I had a whole department that did benefits communication, literally like 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
And here, like you send the guide, we're like, change that word.
Yeah.
That's good.
Same with the website.
Yeah.
Website looks beautiful. Change this.
And Michael's really good.
He was my
He's really
coordinator for
good,
benefits communication.
Yeah, so if he
12 years
says-
ago there.
If he
So that
says,
was where he started his
You're
career.
Yeah.
taking it where I wanted to go next is so there's this one thing which is kind of like the block and tackle, right? Eligibility management, arrears, payroll deductions, EDI files, being a lot of the mundane, not so fun aspects of our day-to-day business. But then there's the team member experience, and aligning with your culture is really important to us. That's something that we learned early on in our journey. And so one of the things that we provide is a concept we call benefit phone. And that aligns with the branded website experience, where we want to do everything in the manner in which you would do it. We want to sound like, look like, feel like, and have your team members feel like they are interacting with someone at the Palms. And then via the benefit phone, it's a single number, right? That routes out to all your carriers, vendors, et cetera. Typically, we're the first line of defense, so to speak, in terms of interaction. So I guess just talk about that, how that aspect of it has also impacted you internally and your relationship with the team.
And that's another way that we perfectly align culturally is, again, at my old job, we had to do training with our third-party operators to say, hey, this is what they expect from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
This is the kind of hospitality we issue. We need you to give it back. Here, you guys were like, we want to learn about your culture. Like, I didn't even have to start the conversation. I think we spent a day or two.
Yep.
We whiteboarded
it. Yeah.
We talked about where do we want to go? What's our journey? If everything was possible, where would it be? And so you guys gave us the opportunity to really download that.
Yeah.
And it's just been fun. Like I said, we have very, very few complaints, if any.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not used to that. Especially the arrears thing you talk about.
Yeah.
Payroll is not run by us, right?
No.
It's run by a third. It's right. Well, it's internal, but everywhere I've ever worked, it's like I'm so close with the payroll people because there's so many problems with benefits deductions. Here, it's like we never talk about benefits deductions. There's no conversation.
Yeah,
and it used to be like a huge part of my every
Part of the
single
day.
paycheck. I was talking to them about things. So it's really
it's normally not even a bin admin necessarily. That arrears piece isn't,
Exactly.
but
Payroll.
it's a big, huge. When we do very large plans that are self-funded, 10,000, 15,000 employees, for example, like we'll say, we're going to save you X dollars, but then if the money goes out and they're not collecting their arrears, then our projections are off. So that's how that piece became really important.
Yeah.
And then the other thing it helps with is like if an arrears can't be collected, so maybe they don't have enough in a final paycheck, or a lot of times leave practices, leave openings there. So Brooke can status like how much that wasn't collected is because of leave, how much the reason that of the uncollected. And so that gives us another insight, right, of where processes are that can be improved and kind of whittled down. So I think the whole thing is really unique, not to just brokers, but ben admin in general.
And it happens a lot in Vegas because of our dealers,
Right.
Because declared tips, and so and they make minimum wage, and so there's never enough money to cover all the benefit deductions.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it was always a huge issue at everywhere I worked, and here it's just like
Taken care
It's
of.
a machine.
Nice.
it's a machine.
Yeah, well, we only
love it.
We only really had those questions when we weren't sending that pre-notification.
Yeah.
So I think that notification, especially when you're working in a digital environment where these employees, like they can walk into HR, but they're not necessarily talking to the benefit center right when they walk into HR, which some are accustomed to, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I think that streamlined communication has really helped. And the other thing, not just benefit phone that we've rolled out for Palms, is text message, which has been, I think, really helpful because it's one phone number similar to like calling, but you can text that number and it's evergreen. So you can always text us during operation hours and someone will text you back. I think that's been really helpful, especially if you have employees that maybe that don't use the computer or
dealers, housekeeping. They're not in front of computers, you know.
You guys are all bringing up things. You guys are all bringing up things I think that are particular to this market and to hospitality in particular.
Exactly.
And I mean, to borrow a phrase, CBC, we were born and raised here in Southern Nevada, but as we have expanded into other markets and we work nationally now, it gives us more perspective on just how unique this market is. So could you talk about that a little bit as well?
It's very unique. I mean, the most unique thing is, because I, again, being a management trustee for Culinary Health Plan, it's national, right? So you're in Atlantic City, you're in Chicago, they don't have as many bodies. They don't have as many lives. So we're this small, little, big community, and everybody knows everybody. And and there's an opportunity to really impact community health because we're kind of small and tight. This market is unique because it's concentrated. So everything is kind of in this, 20-mile radius. And there's a lot of concentration, a lot of the same type of employees, same types of issues. We've got a few large employers and then pockets of little small ones. We've got a coalition. So that's kind of brought the community together, a really strong coalition, actually. So that's brought the community together.
3 shifts.
Yeah. And we have 24 hours, 24-hour town, certainly. Yeah. But the other thing that I think is interesting from an employer perspective is that they can walk across the street and get another job. So there's a lot of movement. So I think that's also changed the way, we've got one big provider. So if that provider can be with all these different employers, it's easy for people to make a change. So it's a small little tight community. People know everybody, and it's not always had a great reputation for having great health.
Right.
So there's been a lot of folks trying to change that with Cleveland Clinic coming in and partnering with these different larger organizations to try to improve health. We have a medicine school now, which we didn't have before, so we're always trying to improve this community, improve the health. But yeah, I just feel like it's this tight little small and everybody knows everybody. And so we all know all the doctors and I
think it's interesting in Vegas, like we talk about that expectation and trying to meet employees where they're at. What I think it's interesting about this market is the amount of organization that you have to do for on-site visits. So whether we're doing on-site dental visits, medicine on the move through HPN, things of that nature, and we're trying to get the employees healthy at work because they're not necessarily going to take initiative outside of being at their location.
It's also unique to have so many employees in one location.
Right.
Exactly. Like Vegas is very different from that.
Employer.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I feel like with 2,200 employees, we're small compared to the rest of the city. But at other cities, it's huge.
Yeah.
You'd be the largest.
Wow, that's a lot of employees because we only have 400 or whatever. So that's the other thing that's unique, I think, is we're all, even the small employers are large employers.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we're in year 5 of our engagement. I talked about our 2 pillars. We've kind of really drilled down on benefits administration, communications, but the other side of that coin is managing the health plan itself and the health and welfare of the employees that participate on it. From a sheer management standpoint of the plan itself, we're at a 2.5% increase over 5 years, not to pat ourselves on the back collectively. But I want to talk less about that and more about your view around strategies on cost containment and wellness, et cetera.
So again, we've had lots of conversations about that. And the first thing I said when I met you guys is we want to try to add benefits every year. We have to maintain costs because we're like a startup company. So we have to maintain costs, but I want to add benefits. So every year I think we've added something, right? And so you guys come to me with, here's what the renewal is. And I come back and say, can we try this? Can we try that? And you have literally every single year exceeded expectations, including this year, which we just found out, don't want to talk too much about that.
Yeah. So, we don't have it in writing yet, so don't jinx it yet.
But I think part of it is just really open communication with you guys and brainstorming a little bit. Like, okay, well, we're not going to be able to absorb a 7% increase, even though medical inflation is rolling around that rate. So what can we do without reducing benefits? And I want me to give the dental example.
Sure.
Is a great one So I wanted to improve dental benefits because dental benefits are just never enough. It's
Right.
like, why do we can cover transplants, but we can't cover someone getting a crown. It's like
Implants.
Yeah, right.
Implants.
So you helped us find a new provider, and we improved benefits, and they gave us a guarantee, I think, for 2
2 years. Yeah.
And employees loved it. And we saw people's teeth improving. Like, we want people to have nice smiles. I
Sure.
mean, we're in
Right.
the hospitality business.
Exactly.
And we
so,
did
of
some
course,
on-site with that too.
we did a lot of on-site.
Mhm.
And so that was really important too. And then the renewal came, and it was like double digit. And of course we expected that.
Yeah.
So went back to you guys and said, how do we maintain the benefit? So you were creative. We ended up getting a proposal from our healthcare provider. If we brought in dental and vision, dental was still going to go up, but they could give us a reduction on the healthcare cost, which
Mhm.
was already at a guarantee,
Yeah.
right? To not go up.
Mhm.
Now you reduced it. So the overall nets, we had a net savings.
Yep.
And very little disruption. And that's
Very
the other
little.
thing that we're always really focused on. We don't want a lot of disruption, but we understand sometimes we have to do it for cost containment. And it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
The employees have been
We
really happy.
increased utilization. I mean, that was the
Yeah.
bummer, but the bummer of the increase. But the good thing is that people were engaged. They're going to on-site.
They're using the benefit.
They're using
Yeah.
the
And
benefits,
we
which is
them
what
to
you
use the
want.
benefit.
Right.
We understand costs are
Exactly.
going to go up, but we don't have them, especially dental. We want folks using their dental insurance.
Yeah. I think something that I really enjoy about working with you, Cindy, is that I feel like you push us as well when we're having conversations with you. I'm like, all right, this is what Cindy wants. We're going to get it done. So I just wanted to just take a moment and say, if you were going to coach someone coming up in HR and benefits and they're talking with their broker, what would be something you would recommend to them? How do you be that person in the room to help push your broker to get the things that you need?
Okay, so I don't like push. I like
Encourage.
Strategize,
Yeah.
open mind. Like, how can we be more
Whiteboard.
innovative? In my current role right now, we have to be super innovative because, like I said, we're a startup company. We're trying to figure out how to make this business profitable because we're on the fourth owner for this building, and it's very different from the other places I've worked. So I'm just always looking at how can we be more creative and not just accepting status quo. And I think that that's how I'm with myself. And so I'm oftentimes that way with my partners.
Yeah. that makes sense.
But I hope that we do it in a way that's respectful.
Yeah,
and
you
that,
do.
but I also think I
agree.
wouldn't be doing it if I didn't believe you had the capacity for it.
Right.
So I'm not going to challenge someone who I don't think has the capacity to be challenged.
Yeah.
And I feel with the three of you, you like it.
Yeah.
You
like
the
it,
challenge.
yeah.
You
like the
rise
challenge.
to the challenge. And I feel like even if and then I can, I'm going to go a little more.
Yeah.
Wait, they're giving that. I can go a little more. So I feel like you open up the runway for me to continue to ask for more and more and more because you keep giving it to me.
Right.
So I think if you ever stop giving it to me, you might find
But
that
a little bit different.
Then the hammer comes
so,
in.
yeah.
no hammer.
No,
It's just I'm not gonna challenge you any further because I
Right.
won't if I don't think you have the capacity to
Yeah.
challenge.
So maybe for any of these, new HR benefits, when they're speaking to their brokers, just try to encourage them to make changes, give you options, encourage them to look at the benefits and create custom solutions, and don't particularly take no for an answer if they're pushing back on you. Because a lot of times, and I always laugh when I say that it's just laziness or people just don't want to try as hard. But for our brokerage, we get a bad name sometimes because we'll take everything to market every year if you want us to, right? We'll ask the question and carriers are like, they're always pushing us and they're always making us, go to market. And it's really tough to work with CBC sometimes. But I think it's important from an HR benefit perspective to say, yes, it can be great to keep things the same, but also encourage your broker to come up with solutions and make sure that you're telling them where your pain points are.
Yeah.
Just don't take the renewal every year.
Well, let me tell
voice
you a little
yourself.
bit why HR people do that, because so much of our job is taken doing other things. And so because I came from kind of a benefits start, and then transition more into to HR and traditional HR, I think if it's not broken, don't fix it. If people aren't complaining, they don't. And we could be sitting here. We could have been in the same plan we were in 5 years or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Because employees aren't complaining.
Right.
But I have a goal. Mike and I have this goal to try to improve things every year and to do it at a net zero cost. And we know there's a way to do it by being creative.
Right.
And we have a partner that is creative. And so we're pursuing that. But I can tell you, like on a day, most small employee, even when I was at Virgin, like they hadn't changed things.
Yeah.
They just stay with it because it was easy. Okay, that's done. Employees aren't complaining. Just move on. I got to go focus on other things that take my energy. So it takes energy and time and commitment. And the other thing for us is, like I said, I'm super passionate about wellness and about people living a happier, healthier life. So get different ways to engage them, different ways to offer benefits that might be important to them. And, challenging you guys to help me.
Yeah.
The other thing is I'm not an expert in the market anymore. I've been out of it for a while. I've been focusing on HR. You're my expert.
Yeah.
So tell me what's new.
Yeah.
Tell me what's happening in the market. What's trending? What's the next best thing?
Yeah.
So I think I look to you guys to bring that to me. And so that's the other reason I do it. I want us to get better. I want us to get better every year.
Yeah.
Not just in benefits, but everywhere in HR. I want us to get better every year.
The interesting thing is that how we started out the whole BIM admin outsourcing was we had a CFO, it was a 10,000 person group that was self-funded. And it was one of our first really large groups. And then the CFO said, I don't understand, we're paying you these broker fees or you have commissions and what have you, but my staff is taking on all of the work, you know what I mean? And we're doing all the benefit administration. We're taking on all the questions. And so that's what got us to start our own contact center to start. And then it got us pushed to build our own BIM admin platform because we couldn't find that. And so the things that you push on us, it's like another quiver in our box is that we use that to leverage to help other people, which is great, right? We want to continue the same way that you're doing it, trying to improve benefits and improve the plans and improve the experience for the employee. We're trying to do that for other employers as well. So we really appreciate when we have people like you pushing us because we learn, you know what I mean? We haven't thought about that. And I think, one hole in our box here in Las Vegas in particular is EAP. And I know it's near and dear to your heart, but getting the engagement has been so difficult,
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I really thought when COVID happened, and there was online and, because there's this stigma about going and sitting in with counseling, I thought that would really take off and it just hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Even when we bring it to the people, we bring it to them, we have something happen, we bring it, people just don't want to talk. It's a social issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's bigger than us. And it's a epidemic. We talk about a lot in the culinary health plan as well. Like, how do we improve mental health? How do we get people to utilize mental health? I think we've done a really good job with wellness and with preventive care. I think we've got folks understanding you have to get your annual checkup, you have to do these tests. We've convinced, as a society, we've convinced folks of that. And as a community, we haven't done it with EAP.
Yep.
And part of it is having those providers. I have people coming to me all the time going, they won't take insurance. They won't take insurance. They won't take insurance. I mean, it's a community issue.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to get folks in the community to be open to taking insurance. Because I have a lot of people that are seeking mental health that it's not covered. And at MGM, we try to direct contract with folks.
Right.
Here, we're just...
And you've even expanded EAP, beyond, where most
You have a standalone
companies
EAP
are.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I have a really good relationship with Harmony, too.
Yeah,
And because I've, again, through my experience here in town, they've been really great partners. And they're still good partners. We just don't have enough... We still don't have enough utilization. I just don't know what to do. It's a huge issue for us. And it's one I really want to try to tackle. And again, have to put some energy into it.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of communications and online things. It's just difficult to get people to push that,
We got to bring it. I think we have to really bring it to them. When I did some group stuff at MGM, we did smoking cessation, we did some weight management stuff in groups. And I think group does work in the workplace, but there's stigmas around all these mental health issues that I just think you're not going to get folks to do that.
Yeah, we see it in the claims all the time.
Yeah,
mental health, depression,
number one. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it used to be cancer and all. Now,
and
mental health.
And it's not. I mean, it's not solely in this environment in Vegas. I mean, we see it nationally. And then again, to your point, it needs to be a cultural shift that it's okay to shift the narrative, talk about it, and be open to it. I was just going to tease that this episode will probably roll off the back of SHRM. So hopefully we're motivating all of our HR folks to get out there and be a little bit more strategic as they come into 2026.
Yeah. I was going to say about the mental health issue. It's also an issue in the workplace, just day-to-day operations.
Yep.
A lot of the employee issues that we're seeing with conflict and, conflict resolution and bad behavior at work is mental health.
Yep.
And so we're always trying to get them in to get resources because we don't want to let folks go because they have a mental health issue. We want to try to get them help, So it's a huge epidemic, not just here, but also just in the workplace.
It's so true. It's like, how can you coach your employees through that without pushing too hard on that engagement? Hey, I would think if you can just talk to this person, it would be really encouraging. It would help you deal with anything that you're coming in conflict resolution in the workplace, right? Especially in your environment, I think where people are working long hours, they're on their feet, sometimes tensions are high, and that could, it's troubling that we can't get them to sit down.
Yeah.
With somebody. But, maybe bringing them, like you said, into the workplace is an interesting strategy.
You tried doing that. It's still hard to get them there.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I
Speed
think
round.
Yeah, we're going to do some speed rounds. My
What is
favorite
that?
part.
What is that? No. It's like, are we running? I'm going to win.
Yeah, she's like, let's
Yeah.
go.
I worked
Let's
out
go.
this morning.
Do
I'm
some
good.
burpees.
Yeah. Hey, I will outplank you.
I do
I have no
not
doubt.
Everybody.
doubt that. Yeah, I'm sure that you would. So speed round, we just like to go give everybody 20 seconds, and we're going to do a little bit of Vegas Blitz style. So what is your favorite slot machine or blackjack?
Slot machine or table game?
Yeah, or
Because
table game.
blackjack is
Yeah,
my
yeah,
type of
yeah.
table
Yeah,
game.
that's true.
So this is going to be probably controversial, but I'm not a gambler.
No, I'm not a gambler. I'm not either.
I like to win,
Yes.
and gambling is gambling. And
Yeah.
so I like to be a winner. So if I can't strategically figure out how to do it, so I don't really have a
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah.
It's great entertainment for folks, and I encourage people to come. But I think living here, it's hard to do that and live here at the same time.
Yeah. I've always gamble strategically with my husband. I'm like, you've got this amount of money. Once it's gone, it's
Entertainment.
over.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
a very
yeah.
healthy way to do it.
Okay, I know that you'll like this one better. Favorite restaurant in the Palms
Oh my goodness.
and meal.
Mark
Yeah.
Vetri. Vetri's is on top of one of our towers, and it's beautiful.
Mm.
They mill the wheat in the basement to make the pasta and the bread.
Wow.
So
Wow.
the wheat is milled right there in the building. Everything is fresh. It's absolutely delicious. The view is beautiful. It's only got 75 seats, so it's a very small restaurant. Italian glass, Italian fixtures that were put on a boat and brought there, and it's phenomenal. So that's and I can't say which of
Yeah.
I like the whole menu. So it's
Left hand side of the menu.
Is it a good for a cheat day? It sounds like you can go and have all of your delicious pasta that's been
so
fresh milled.
good.
Oh my god!
And it's what's great about it. They're all small. Like
Yeah.
I took my son there. He's like, "Mom, I'm still hungry." Everything's like really small. It's super rich and delicious, and so it's
I
a
love that.
great place to go if you have 2.5 hours. If it's something really romantic, it's very romantic. Yeah, it's nice.
So, having lived and worked here for so long, one of the things I enjoy doing is trying to show folks like what my Vegas is, the things that I enjoy going to do. What would be an example of a non-Palms, non-strip experience that you would send someone?
My goodness, I don't know. I love Mount Charleston. I
Mhm.
love Zion. I mean, when my
Yeah.
son was young, we went to Zion all the time and went. And my
Got it.
son just did like a hike at Mount Charleston on Sunday because it was so hot.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's
Good
you can
strategy.
get away 45 minutes. You
Yeah.
can go 70 degrees. They picnicked, they hiked, and so those are two I think favorites for me outside of the Strip.
Mm,
Yeah.
And the Strip is just like if you love entertainment, Sphere is fantastic. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw the Eagles there. I've seen the Eagles many times. It blew me away.
That's
Yeah.
really
It's worth the
We
ticket.
saw the Dead and it was amazing.
It's so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I do love Mount Charleston too. I have a very fond memory of being a really little kid in the summer of Vegas, and we went up to the mountains, and there was all these ladybugs in my hair, and I've always remembered that. And it's I always correlate the Red Rocks with all these ladybugs in my hair. I do love it up there. Any other last minute tips?
I think we're good. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Cindy.
Appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate your time. And Vegas is so different. So we're really excited that you said yes and come spend a half hour, but it'll be more than an hour of your time here. Sorry. But we loved it and enjoyed it, and we really appreciate it.
And I really appreciate you guys. And I know how hard you all work for us, especially
Oh,
Brooke.
yeah,
Even
thank
through all
you.
the maternity leave. It's like, when's she back?
I
But your
know.
team is fantastic.
Thank
and it's
you.
just been a great experience for
Yeah,
us.
we've
and we're
loved it.
just honored to be chosen.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
All right. Well, that's our episode with Boss Moves and Benefits. Grab it where you grab your local podcast, or you can see us on YouTube. Thank you.